politically incorrect. Okay, there we go. This is called Politically Incorrect, and I'm just going to say right now it's not about anyone here at this college. Okay. I fell in love with my political theory professor. And with that went all political correctness or rightness, along with any awareness for social appropriateness. But where else were these things supposed to go after a 35-year age difference had been added to the ever-complex equation that is known both fondly and disdainfully as my love life? The fact of the matter was, the theory of reality relative to this love story left no space to be concerned with any type of properness. He once said to me, "I can now sympathize better with the queer community because in the eyes of society, it doesn't matter if you're a man and a man, if you're trans, if you're a woman and a woman, if you're one shade pinkier than 50 shades, or if you're 5 shades too bright to be out on date night with someone 10 shades too dark. Or if you're 20 and 55, because in the eyes of society, you are committing a culture crime, and their eyes will convict you as quickly as they see you. No trial, no jury, one judge. While society may look at our relationship as improper, I can think of nothing more appropriate than a political scientist breaking culture's laws with an activist spirit. Because who are we to stop questioning? And what is more deserving of inquiry than cultural norms? It is a daily upheaval for me to distance myself from the questions that people feel entitled to bombard us with. I don't have to prove anything to any of you, and I certainly don't have to prove how I earned my grade. But if you insist I have a 30-page fuck you that I was sure to support with 26 references, and if that's not enough, I have a 120-page explanation of why you can eat me for even asking that. We don't have to prove anything to any of you, but do I need to remind you that he's a college professor? So no, there's no money that I'm in it for. For once, I would like for people to instead ask me how I have loved. When I look back at the path that I walked, I don't know if I'll be able to say that I made the most money, but I know that I will be able to say that I have loved. I loved through good days, I loved through tears. I loved when it was easy, and I loved when it was hard. But that's the great fallacy of love, isn't it? That it's easy, that you're handed some sort of maintenance manual with all the answers. It's not. You're not. Love is hard. Love is really, really hard. Oftentimes there isn't one right answer, and more often than not, there are many wrong answers. It takes dedication and it takes work, because it is one of the hardest things that you can do. I loved the way I wanted to, not the way the world told me to. I loved perfectly, but I loved genuinely. I loved my best friend more than once, presently, every day, because today was all we ever had. I loved hoping for another 35 years together, knowing I would do better to mentally prepare myself to lose him. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell myself something, because no matter how many work orders I put in, the highway between my mind and my heart never seems to get fixed. I loved knowing the day would come when I would have to tell him goodbye, but I loved because in the final moments at his bedside, I wanted to be able to say to him, we did it. We didn't live blindly or dishonestly, we lived presently. We didn't move mountains, but there were days when it felt like we were. We didn't have a movement behind us, we barely had my family behind us. But we did something that most people never have the courage to do, what most people can't do. We loved, fully and completely we loved. And I loved knowing that in that moment, death would suddenly become much less scary than living without love.